Well, we finally have the actual service bulletin from American Honda regarding the safety recall on the 2018 to 2021 Honda Goldwings.
This video is sponsored by Cruiseman's Garage Honda Goldwing Maintenance Video Series.
Thank you again, Don. And this morning I'm out in the garage. It's about 5:30 in the morning. And yesterday evening I received from one of my back channel sources a copy of the actual 30-page long service bulletin regarding the safety recall on the Honda Goldwing. Now, some of you may have seen the video I did a month or two ago, I don't even remember when it was, where I talked about this issue, a stop sell order where Honda dealers were no longer they were instructed by Honda not to sell any 2018 to 21 Goldwings, either new or used, until this issue had been addressed. And that was about all we knew at the time. I told you at that time I would update you with any new information, so I now have new information. So that's what we're going to talk about this morning. I'm going to tell you what the procedure is for making this repair, and we'll talk a little bit more details. I'll read some of this to you as well. And if you haven't seen that original video, check it out. I'll put it up here in the corner of the video, a link to it, or I'll put it in the description of the video. So I'm just going to tell you everything I know. If you have a 2018 to 2021 Honda Goldwing, this may apply to you. So this is the primary drive gear bolt replacement. It's effective for all models of Honda Goldwings between 2018 and 2021. Now, that doesn't mean every single motorcycle will be subject to this recall and this fix, but it does mean those 3 years. It doesn't matter if you drive a bagger, a tour model, an airbag model, it doesn't matter. They're all potentially part of this. So Honda gives the background. Honda is launching a safety recall on certain 2018 to 2021 GL 1800B, BD, D, and DA motorcycles to replace the primary drive gear tightening bolt. Due to a manufacturing defect, the primary drive bolt may fail during use and cause the engine to stall while riding, increasing the risk of a crash or injury. Now, it doesn't mean it would, it just means, you know, anytime your motorcycle stalls when you're going down the road at 60 miles an hour, if the engine stalls, it could increase the risk of an injury because maybe, I don't know. Doesn't say anything here about locking up the rear wheel. I think that's a myth. I don't think, maybe you've heard of somebody that's happened to. I don't know, that might have been another issue, but to my knowledge, that's not a concern. It's just the motorcycle stops running. You can't restart it. You basically pull over to the side of the road. You have it towed in, go from there. Very, very rare. I think this is a very rare problem, okay? So don't freak out. You know, go ahead and ride your motorcycle. I don't think you need to be too concerned because it's going to take a while for this to all work itself out. Okay, affected units. As of October 24, 2024, now this is information going to a dealership, a Honda dealer. As of October 24th, you must not sell certain, it's interesting they say certain new or used 2018-2021 Goldwing motorcycles until they are repaired according to this service bulletin. To search for applicable recalls on a specific unit, you must use unit information on IN. I think that's their back office search computer system. To manage your affected new inventory, use your dealer e-responsibility report on IN. Okay, so apparently the dealers have the ability I'm assuming right now to, by VIN number or some other method, look up to see if a specific motorcycle falls into the one of these that needs to be repaired. American Honda intends to mail customer letters to all owners of affected 2018 to 2021 motorcycles in December, a little earlier than what they said before. I thought before they said January, but they're going to be mailing these out in December apparently. Customers will be informed that their motorcycle may be affected by a safety-related defect and will be advised to make an appointment with an authorized Honda dealer for repair. I find that interesting. I'm surprised you can't just contact a dealer with your VIN number and find out, but maybe Honda wants that motorcycle eyes on. They want eyes on that VIN number, make sure. They don't want to trust a customer just to call in and say, hey, this is my VIN number. They want to make sure this is probably NTSB or some other agency that requires this level of thoroughness. I'm just guessing. I'm speculating. I don't know anything, okay? Okay, and then they go through the list of parts that are required. I'm not going to get into all of that. There's a connecting rod, some seals, gaskets, O-rings, and then, of course, the bolt. Dealer repair responsibility. Repairs must be performed by a qualified technician. I looked through the 30 pages. Anybody that would attempt this had better be qualified. Performing this repair exactly as shown in the repair procedure instructions is critical for the remedy to be effective. Carefully follow all instructions. Service management should inspect and confirm the repair. Then warranty claim information. Basically, this is going over what they're going to pay dealers. Honda is going to reimburse the dealers for performing this repair. And it's a flat rate of 5.6 hours, which seems, I've looked over what's involved in this repair, and maybe after you've done a few of these, you could knock it out in 5 hours. I don't know. I suspect, I'm just speculating. What do I know? I'm not a dealer. I'm not a service manager. But man, I have a feel. See, the dealers are obligated to do this. They don't have a choice. They have to make these repairs based on their dealership contract. Honda not only is going to lose a lot of money on this because they've got to reimburse the dealers for all these. We're talking potentially thousands of motorcycles that are going to have to be repaired. This could take a year or more to get through all these. I mean, I don't know how a dealer say you've got 3 service techs in your service department, you're going to basically be committing. And how many of those service techs are Goldwing qualified or certified that they really know how to work on a Goldwing? Maybe 1? So you're talking about basically taking him out of rotation for a year or more just working on this one thing, because there's a lot of motorcycles out there, I think. I don't know how many. They don't tell you. Honda has to know. They have to know which VIN numbers fall into this range of bikes that have to be repaired. Anyway, but if a dealer's only going to get reimbursed 5.6 hours, that doesn't sound like very much. I don't think the dealers are going to be making a fortune on this. I think they're probably going to take it in the shorts. But no, there's no win-win here, including the customer, because if you own one of these motorcycles, it could be weeks or months that your motorcycle is, once you take it in. I wouldn't even take it in until I know it's only going to be in there for a week or two. But I could see people dealers having Goldwings stacked up in their warehouse waiting for I don't know, maybe I'm overreacting. I could be. Like I say, if I had a 2018 to 2021, I would probably continue to ride the bike until I knew my dealer had done a few of these, gotten a few under their belt, they felt comfortable doing it, and then go from there. Actually, I probably would honestly consider just buying a new Goldwing. I hate to say it, I mean, that's just me. I probably would just say, hey, you know, I don't even want to deal with it. Go to the dealer and maybe see what kind of good deal they give me on trade. Let them store the bike and work on it later. But I honestly don't, I think that this bolt failure is so rare, I don't know that it's worth even that level of concern. But, you know, Honda thinks it is. All warranty template claims will reimburse engine oil replacement because you have to drain the oil. All warranty template claims will reimburse freight. To ensure your dealership receives the freight credit, follow these steps. Okay, this is all mostly dealer stuff. Now they do show here that the new bolt can be identified because they have replaced it with a bolt that has a little dimple, a little protrusion on the head of the bolt. So I guess if anybody ever looked at the engine again or any other problem ever occurred, they'd be able to tell if this bolt had actually been repaired. Now, the reason Honda does that for a couple of things. Let's say a problem crops up 2 or 3 years later and they're required to tear down an engine to see what the problem is. Honda will be able to tell if that bolt was replaced. So this, I'm not saying there are unscrupulous dealers, but this would prevent a dealer from going into the Honda system and claiming that this repair was made when in fact they didn't even mess with it. They just didn't replace it. They got reimbursed the 5.6 hours, but they never did the job. So this is pretty clever because this way somebody could go into that engine and tell by looking at it if that bolt was replaced because it's a different design on the bolt. Okay, the next page, which is page 3 of 30, talks about how the tech is going to have to build a special tool. Honda's not even providing a tool for this. It's basically, there's actually 2 different special tools. Without getting into the details, I'll put some information on the screen if you want to see it. The first tool, it seems like it's something to wedge in between the crankshaft gears so that when you remove this bolt, the crank doesn't spin. So it keeps everything stationary until you get the new bolt in and get it torqued down properly. That's real important. And then there's a second special tool. Just looks like a bolt to me, like an all thread with a nut on it. I didn't research that because it's unimportant. The only thing I will say is I know that there are some of you that have claimed that you have done this yourself, that you have yourself gone. It is a massive undertaking. This is not something for the faint of heart. This is not something for a casual, you know, Goldwing owner to do on. And no, there will not be a Cruiseman's Garage video showing how to do this. I would never accept that liability, first of all. But honestly, my opinion is don't even attempt this on your own. Now, some of you may be ex-Honda service techs, or maybe you're a Honda service tech and you own a Goldwing and you're comfortable with this level of teardown, and that's fine. I would not personally do it, just for me. I figure it's Honda's problem. They created it, let them fix it, and then let them be responsible for the warranty on it. So if they go through this and they replace it, and then the bolt ended up failing, that's going to be on Honda. If I did it myself, it's not on Honda. Honda's not going to provide any coverage at all. And the other thing is, if you have a Honda dealer perform this repair, it's going to go into the computer system with, I don't know if it goes to the NTSB, but it definitely go to Honda, that VIN number has had this safety recall repair performed. If you do it yourself, which you may be very capable to do, you may never be able to sell your motorcycle or trade it in. Now, a Honda dealer might take it on trade, but they're going to have to perform this again. They're going to have to redo it. So for that reason, you pretty much have to take it to a Honda dealer with a good qualified service technician. Now you say, well, where do I find that? Because some of you may live in an area where you don't have a great Honda dealer with an excellent service tech. We're very fortunate here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. With DFW Honda anyway, we have a good service techs there. And some of you that live in the Tennessee, North Carolina area, there are other dealers out there, that have, like, such as Southern Honda. I would feel comfortable. It's a big enough dealership. They probably have several Goldwing certified techs. And I'm sure there's other dealers, maybe Niehaus Cycles and some others that have the same thing. I don't know. I'm not an expert on Honda dealers around the country and who has the great service techs. But I definitely want to take it to a Honda dealer where they sell a fair number of Goldwings. They're familiar with the Goldwing and they work on Goldwings frequently. So that raises an issue in that that window of where you could take your motorcycle to have this repair done starts to get smaller and smaller, because not only does it have to be a Honda dealer, it has to be one that I would feel comfortable working on Goldwings. I'll give you an example. When I had my accident a few years ago, I had the bike towed to a dealership in West Texas, in Midland. And I was concerned the whole time I had my bike there that there wasn't anybody there that really used to working on Goldwings, because mostly what that Honda dealer sells is UTVs, ATVs. They're mostly jet skis and recreational vehicles. They don't really sell a lot of Goldwings in Midland, Texas. So I was very concerned. I knew they were going to have to replace the front fork. I knew they were going to have to, work on potentially the steering head. And I was afraid that they just didn't have anybody there with the expertise to do it. Turned out okay. They did a good job. There's a couple of things they messed up, but it was simple cosmetic stuff. But that was a concern. I would definitely be concerned about having this type of repair done at that dealership. So I think the real loser on this, Honda obviously is going to lose a bunch of money by having to pay the dealers to do this. But the dealers are going to lose a lot of money and resources, because they've got to perform these repairs. I mean, I have a real sympathy for the dealers here, because, when they get hit with something like this, it's like, hey guys, you signed a contract. If you're going to be a Honda dealer, you got to do these things, and here's what we're going to pay you. And, I don't know, maybe 5.6 hours is enough. Hey, if any of you know, let me know out in the, I know guys that, now, they're not service techs, but I know guys that take 3 or 4 hours just to change an air cleaner. And trust me, I went through and looked at the 30 pages of what's required to do this repair. You've got to remove the gas tank. You've got to remove, of course, the top shelter, all the plastic panels, from here back. You've got to remove the canister. You've got to remove the ISG. You've got to remove the, you got to take off the radiator coolant tank. You got to take a lot of stuff off of this motorcycle. Just to get to what you have to get to replace this bolt. In my opinion, it's a pretty serious. You don't have to pull the engine. They're not recommending, I didn't see anything that said the engine has to be removed from the motorcycle. But short of that, you pretty much have to take everything else off. I wish I could give you better news right before Christmas, but the good news is Honda is dealing with it, and it is covered under your warranty regardless of if your motorcycle's in or out of warranty. You don't have to pay for this. I personally, if I were going to a dealership and having this done on my motorcycle, I would tell the service manager and or the service tech. I would have a conversation. This is just me. I'm not saying you should do this. I'm just saying just me. But I would sit down with one of them, probably the tech if I had the opportunity, and say, listen, I know this is a big job. I know what Honda's paying you to do this. I want it done right. If it takes 7 hours, I'll pay the additional labor. And here's $100, just to show you that I'm not kidding. I want it done right. I appreciate that you're having to do a lot of these, and it's a hard job to do. Slip the guy a hundo, and maybe he'll remember you, and he'll take a little bit extra time on your bike. That's all you can do as an owner. All you can do is make it rain. So I would do that. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying that if you're willing to spend $200 or $300 on foot pegs, give your service tech an extra $100 for doing a really good job on a big job like this. Okay, so that's all I have for you today. I hope this answers your questions. You should be getting a letter from Honda if you have a 2018 to 2021. You will probably have to take your bike to a dealer and have them look up the VIN number in the system. And then if yours falls in this range, they will, I don't know what they'll do. I don't know if they schedule it right then, or I don't know. But maybe you'll be cleared. Maybe your VIN number won't be in the group that needs to be replaced. And they will say, hey, you're good to go. And they'll mark it off in the database, and you'll be golden. So let's hope for that. So anyway, thanks for joining me today. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments down below. And I will, Christmas is just a little over a week away. I hope all of you are going to have a good Christmas. I'll see you again before Christmas. Got some more videos coming. Remember what I always say, ride often, but ride safe.